Boxing, despite being a combat art where you only punch with your face, is full of many styles. From the brawler, the counter-puncher, the unorthodox, to the so-called stylists. But no matter what the form, each and every one has had several or at least one star. Today, we'll discuss a man who navigates between different styles. Well, he can exchange, be elusive, and of course, take down his opponents. Therefore, let's welcome to the Ikuberso one of the best exponents of boxing in recent times, Vasyl Lomachenko. Vasyl Anatolievich Lomachenko. Born on February 17, 1988 in Vilyod-Nitrovsky, in the former Soviet Ukraine. The main character is the son of boxing coach Anatoly Lomachenko. As expected, his father introduces him to boxing at a young age. But Coach Anatoly would elevate the Soviet boxing style to new heights. He would not only teach him to throw punches with the precision of a surgeon, but he would also add other activities to his sons and his boxers' training to increase their skills in the ring. Therefore, our protagonist would have to do things that not many boxers do, such as memory game sessions, reaction games, gymnastics classes, and dance. The protagonist took dance classes, though not specifically ballet as many sources claim. That is, he did take ballet classes, but he also danced topak, a popular dance that requires great coordination and leg strength due to the movements they perform. Bruce Lee also took dance classes. I'll share his video. I continue. Vasyl said he didn't enjoy dancing but understood the concept behind it. To improve his coordination and speed in his legs.
I don't like it. No, I don't like it. But I do it because if you don't dance, you can't train boxing.
I would spend about 2 years in this routine. Vasyl would gradually make his mark in the amateur ranks. But his first international achievement would come when he won the gold medal at the 2004 European Cadet Championship. A separate video would suffice to discuss Lomachenko's amateur accomplishments, because he is one of the best amateur boxers in history. But we are going to greatly summarize his resume. In 2006, he won the gold medal in the Junior World Championship. He won the silver medal in the flyweight category at the 2007 World Championship in Chicago. He also competed in featherweight. He won gold medals at the European Championship and 2008 Olympics, making him an Olympic gold medalist. Great news indeed. He went on to win gold medals in the 2009 and 2011 World Championships and the 2012 Olympic Games. Double Olympian.
Nobody cares.
Leaving a total staggering record of 396 victories and a single defeat. A fucking madness, obviously, as his amateur career progressed and was getting thicker. This record would attract the attention of various professional boxing promoters who saw in the Ukrainian a potential star. Therefore, it is not surprising that when he decided to go professional, he was contacted by the biggest promoters in boxing. But he would finally sign with Top Rank, the company of Bob Arum, one of the most long-standing and powerful promoters in boxing. Like a true patriarchal male, Vasyl Lomachenko turns professional and makes his debut on October 12, 2013 against Jose Luis Ramirez in a fight for the WDO International Featherweight title. Because yes, true patriarchal males debut for a title. Ramirez came with a record of 25-3 and still, Vasyl shows him that his boxing quality is superior. The fight continues until the 4th round when Lomachenko lands a powerful body blow, sending his opponent to the canvas and securing the victory.
What greater pride can I have?
Thus achieving a successful professional debut and taking the international title home. Honestly, I can think of very few boots better than this one. One of the advantages of signing with a promoter with real power is that they can make certain things happen. And Bob Arum would do his job by getting him a fight for the vacant World Boxing Organization featherweight world title for his second professional fight.
I didn't expect that.
His opponent was Mexican Orlando Salido, who lost the title before the fight for not making weight. And yet, the fight took place and both boxers traded blows like socialist government handouts, that is, left and right. After 12 violent rounds, Salido would take a split decision, thus handing Lomachenko his first professional defeat. And I ask you, how fair does this seem to you? I mean, he didn't make the weight and still took a split decision. 3 months after the defeat, he would return to the ring to fight for the same title. But this time his opponent would be the American Gary Russell Jr., who would be no match for the precise and elusive style of the Ukrainian, who spent the 12 rounds pounding him. After the final bell, the judges gave the victory to Vasyl Lomachenko by majority decision, thus becoming the World Boxing Organization featherweight champion. Knowing that one is not a champion until they defend the belt, Lomachenko sets out to cement his position as the true king. First, he goes to a 12-round war against the Taishon-Latarn Pidia Pincho, whom he defeats by unanimous decision. Apart from his first successful defense, he also took a messed up left hand, as according to sources, he would have hurt it in the 7th round. After a few months out recovering from his hand, he would return to action to make his second defense. His counterpart would be the Puerto Rican Gamaliel Rodriguez, who receives a lesson on how to attack and move around the ring from our protagonist.
As we've seen in the last 10 seconds, here's Lomachenko, and I think it's going to benefit everyone in the arena if he does the swing and weaving Lomachenko underneath.
On the 9th jump, Lomachenko gives a short right hook to the opponent that makes him fall. And failing to get up, it stops at the same.
Adding to our protagonist another defense and another victory by knockout.
Fantastic.
He would defend his title for the 3rd time against Romulo Kovacic, who manages to resist for 9 full rounds. But in the 10th, Lomachenko lands 3 body blows that send him to the canvas and he can't continue the fight. After this defense, he sets a new challenge for himself, to conquer the super featherweight title held by Rocky Martinez. But neither moving up a category nor facing the champion posed an obstacle for the Ukrainian, who by the 2nd round had turned his opponent's face as red as a baboon's butt. But in the 5th round, Lomachenko floors him with a right hook, leaving him unable to rise. Thus making Lomachenko the World Boxing Organization super featherweight champion.
Did you see that? That's being savage.
In his first defense of his new title, he faces Jamaican Nicholas Walters, who would be knocked out in 7 rounds. He would then have 3 more defenses of his super featherweight title, first against Jason Sosa, then against Miguel Mariaga, and would close with Cuban Guillermo Rigondo. He grinds all 3, until they're unable to continue fighting.
So he's not a puncher with devastating power. Absolutely yes. That is power.
With a record of 10-1 being a curious defeat, he decides to move up in category to clash with the Venezuelan Jorge El Niño de Oro. Linares, who at the time was the World Boxing Association lightweight champion and held the title of The Ring. Linares was on a winning streak and had a good punch, so both went to war.
We're going to see it slowly on the chain. Let's go, Aris.
In the 6th round, Linares would manage to connect a right hand full of violence that sends our protagonist to the canvas. And the shadow of defeat had appeared in Lomachenko's corner.
However, he gets up.
He doesn't lose his cool and starts gaining an advantage over the Venezuelan. Until in the 10th round, in an exchange, he hits the Venezuelan's liver, who falls to his knees and can't continue fighting.
That's southpaw again hitting.
Thus, Vasyl Lomachenko reaching a new world champion title. Seeing him on the canvas was a new experience for his audience, the press, and even himself. And he just said that, "It's good that Linares knocked me down, so people will realize that I'm human." Good phrase, but I stick with Fedor's, where he says, "I feel nothing, only those who stand can fall." Fedor scores a point here. As the World Boxing Association lightweight champion, his task was to defend his title and potentially win another one in the process. In his first lightweight defense, he faces Jose Pedraza, who proves to be a tough opponent, lasting the full 12 rounds. After the skirmish ended, the judges gave the victory to Lomachenko by unanimous decision, retaining his VWA and the ring titles, in addition to taking the World Boxing Organization title, which was held by Pedraza.
Is there anything this young man doesn't do well?
His second defense in lightweight would be a quick job on Anthony Crowler, who would be knocked out in the 4th episode of the fight.
He's maintaining his stance as a leader. He's going to go out and fight, and in the end, he cut himself.
On August 31st, 2019, he clashes gloves with Luke Campbell, where apart from his World Boxing Association win over, or the ring titles, the vacant World Boxing Council belt was at stake. With such a game, it's no wonder he gave us a pretty entertaining fight. After 12 full jumps, the judges gave the victory to Lomachenko by unanimous decision, successfully defending his titles and adding the World Boxing Council to his showcase.
Well done.
But would he last longer putting on the belt than losing it without even taking a hit? How? Well, Suleiman and his entourage of SEALs decided to take the title away from Lomachenko. Because he does whatever he wants. And since he's the head of the World Wildlife Fund, who's going to tell him no? And I must say that I think it's an abuse to take away your title just like that. If you won it by force of blows, you should only lose it that way, or, in such case, if they catch you in some trick or strange move. But I don't think it's fair at all that after all the effort it takes to win a belt, they come and tell you you're no longer a champion and that's it.
You have no power here.
In 2020, he had a single fight where he risked his titles to win the International Defense Federation S. But his opponent, Teofimo Lopez, would surprise him by bringing out the best in the fight.
The jab angle greatly facilitates all levels of movement. He lowers his head at the beginning of the 6th round and quickly brings that angular mark to Lomachenko.
Now he's going to have to close that distance.
And after the final bell, Lopez would take a unanimous decision, as well as our protagonist's titles, giving him his second professional defeat and breaking a 6-year streak without knowing what it was to lose.
Ouch, that must have hurt.
Despite a setback, he is set to fight Japan's Masayoshi Nakatani, who had a 19-1 record. But our protagonist shows him the difference in levels that existed between them.
There are levels, bro.
By the 9th round, Lomachenko steps on the gas and punishes his opponent, forcing the referee to stop the fight, as the Asian was literally like a zombie. By the way, you have the story of the UFC zombie here. 6 months after grinding down the Asian, he goes into a 2-round battle against the Dane Richard Comey, who was totally dominated. Lomachenko adds a unanimous decision, in addition to taking the vacant World Boxing Organization Intercontinental title. In 2022, he only has one fight, in which he would dominate the American Jamaine Ortiz and takes another unanimous decision. After this victory, he becomes the world challenger. If he emerges victorious, he would become a unified champion. Because his opponent, Devin Haney, held the 4 major belts, except for the ring title. This fight promised to be a war, and indeed it was.
And he's trying to work behind that jab, and then the right-hand counterattack from the back foot. About the mental pressure. Lomachenko in the middle of the 10th round.
After 12 rounds of action, where both fighters had good moments, Devin took a unanimous decision. A result that did not convince the present audience, who booed the decision. Many experts believed he lost, and others think that, at most, he should have taken a split decision. In the EQ team, we watched the fight about 3 times to form an opinion, and all I can say is, it was a close fight. Perhaps a fall would have made things clearer, but be that as it may, Lomachenko added his 3rd professional loss. It's not about how often you fall, but how often you get back up. And after a year out of the ring, he returns to action against Australian George Kambosos Jr., who was the International Boxing Organization champion. But the title was not at stake for some reason. Instead, the vacant one was the International Boxing Federation S. I don't know. And both boxers would give us an excellent boxing exhibition. Lomachenko gradually gained an advantage over his opponent and sent him to the canvas with a body blow in the 11th round. They count him out and he gets up only to be punished again until they stop the fight. This technical knockout made Vasyl Lomachenko the new International Boxing Federation lightweight champion. Reaching the top again after nearly 4 damn years of hard work. And since that fight, he hasn't stepped into the ring again. And in fact, he has already said that his retirement from boxing would be very soon, because at 37 years old, in his opinion, he says he is too old to keep fighting, and indeed, he has a point. That is, just as there are exceptional cases like the recently deceased George Foreman, whose story you have on the channel, who fought until a quite advanced age. It is also true that a boxer's prime is quite short, and not everyone can or should keep fighting. There's no need to see great champions or fighters being massacred by the new generations. Vasyl Lomachenko's record remains for now at a more than solid 18-3, which leaves him in this position of pure boxing victories. At least so far, he has not lost a single fight by knockout and is considered one of the boxers with the best footwork of recent times, and this may be due to the 2 years of dance he had. He has nicknames like Loma for Lomachenko and Hitek, which comes from his ability to evade and counterattack opponents. As if he were a trained machine, his style is described as dancing in the ring, as he is very good at moving at angles, whether to attack, avoid punches, or simply move around, being an iconic characteristic of his fighting style. By the way, when things got heated in Ukraine due to the conflict with Russia, he joined his country's army, demonstrating that in the ring or on the battlefield, he is ready to give his all. The married protagonist with a son continues his fight, allowing us to witness his ongoing struggle. Despite having started somewhat late in professional boxing, at 27 years old, he has had a very successful career, and his style has made him one of the public's favorites. Proof of this is that you are still here enjoying his story. the same one that is open for a possible Volume 2 or update. Thanks for being there, folks, and to train.